Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into one of the biggest career crossroads you can face in the tech world, that leap from being an individual contributor to becoming a manager. We're going to use Camille Fournier's incredible book, The Manager's Path, as our guide to navigate this. So if you're a great engineer, a talented designer, you've probably heard it a million times, right? Management is the next logical step. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if we're looking at it completely backwards?
And that's the core idea from Camille Fournier. See, moving into management isn't just a promotion, it's a full-on career change. You're not just climbing up another rung, you're hopping over to a completely different ladder, one that requires a whole new set of skills you have to learn from scratch.
So let's walk through the 5 key stages of this journey that she lays out in the book. We'll go from just dipping your toes into leadership all the way to managing entire organizations. Think of this as your roadmap for the path ahead. Okay, first things first, the most critical part of this whole transition, it's all in your head. It starts with a huge shift in your mindset. Here's the mental flip you have to make. You're not the senior expert anymore. You're a rookie again. Your job is no longer about writing the most elegant code or shipping the coolest design. Your new product is your team. Their success, their effectiveness, that's your output now. So how do you actually start making that shift? Well, stage 2 is all about testing the waters, and it often happens while you're still an individual contributor. This usually happens in one of 2 ways. You might become a mentor, where you focus on helping one junior person grow and you learn the basics of guiding someone, or you could become a tech lead. That's where you're responsible for a whole project and you have to help the entire team succeed together.
As a tech lead, you're basically a professional juggler. You're constantly switching between these 3 hats. One minute, you're the architect looking at the big picture. The next, you're the planner, breaking down all the work. And then, you're right there in the trenches as the team leader, clearing roadblocks. Getting good at that constant context switching, that's your first real test. That whole balancing act is really just the training ground for stage 3, managing your very first team. And this, my friends, is the crucible. You're a full-time people manager now, and your responsibilities are about to change in a big way. Your number one most important tool is the one-on-one meeting. And Fournier's analogy is just perfect. They're like oil changes for your car. These meetings aren't for status updates. They are for team maintenance. This is where you build trust, offer support, and spot those small problems before they completely blow up. And your next key tool? Feedback. A great manager doesn't just save everything for a stressful annual review. Not at all. They build a culture where giving little course corrections, both the good stuff and the constructive stuff, is just a normal, everyday part of how the team works. Your entire focus has to shift. You're not debugging code anymore. You're debugging the team. And you have to be constantly on the lookout for these critical bugs, projects that are stalled, endless drama, a team that's clearly burning out, or a group that just can't seem to work together. So once you've learned how to debug a single team, the path scales up. Stage 4 is all about leading multiple teams and, often managing other managers. The biggest leap you have to make here is letting go of doing the work yourself. Your job is no longer to be the main problem solver. Instead, you build the systems, the people, and the processes that solve problems for you. You have to start leading through influence and structure, not by doing it all yourself. At this level, the problems get way more abstract. It's suddenly a lot harder to know what's actually happening on the ground. You have to coach your own managers, hold them accountable, and use tools like skip-level meetings just to get an unfiltered sense of reality. You've basically leveled up from debugging a team to debugging the entire organization. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important lesson on the manager's path. The one lesson that holds all the others together. Because when it comes down to it, great management isn't about some process or a flowchart. It's about mastering yourself, your own reactions, your biases, your ego. These are the biggest obstacles you will ever face. The whole path is really just one long exercise in self-awareness. Fournier gives us 2 powerful tools for this internal work. First, you have to cultivate self-awareness so you can actually notice when your ego is the one making a decision. And second, you have to develop a relentless curiosity, a genuine desire to understand why other people see the world so differently than you do. And in the end, that's really the true compass for this career: curiosity.
The path never really ends. There's always more to learn about your people, your organization, and most of all, about yourself. So here's the big takeaway. Management is not a promotion, it's a craft. It's a completely different skill that requires deliberate practice, deep self-reflection, and an endless supply of curiosity. The manager's path is laid out for you. The only question left is, are you ready to walk it?